Hey everybody, it's time to place your bets. You can place up to a $3 bet on this. Do you think that I received Long Shot the dice game, the long-awaited dice game version of Long Shot? Bets placed? Yeah, you better believe it. I got the Long Shot the dice game. I am thrilled. I'm so excited to share this with you. You know I've been waiting for this. I love racing games. I love Long Shot. So I will tell you what's in the box and what I really like about this compared to Long Shot the board game. Okay, so this is everything that comes in the box. You'll notice that the map is a lot smaller, but the racetrack is just as fun as the original. You don't need that giant board just to race around these tiny horses. There was actually probably too much space on that particular board. Here, the horses are pretty chunky. They are made of wood, and they have this really nice design and lacquer on them. So they have some nice weight, they have a nice base, and I think with this dice game version, they solved the problem with the stickers on the plastic horses. That was one of my biggest critiques or complaints about the original game, is the horses were just kind of like really not so great quality. Here you've got nice blocks with beautiful color, bright colors, and the numbers are right on top. And you just line them up at the starting line and it works fine. Now around the corners, they do get rather large and they don't go around the corners as easily, but it's not that big of a deal. It actually works really well that this racetrack is smaller. It takes up much less space and obviously fits in a much smaller box. In the Kickstarter, you get expansions. You get mini expansions for different horse sets, and that's kind of the coolest thing. There are 5 sets of horses here. Now that means that there are 5 number 1s, which have different activations and different bonuses and different kind of chain reactions. And then all the other horses, same thing. So you've got the 3 that come with the game, and then there's the horse set mini expansion for the boot and the hot dog. In the original game, same horses. Now, I love those horses. I love them by name. I mean, Slow Jen, great. Wonder Bread, great. I know those horses' names. Oh, by the way, Slow Jen, 4. Wonder Bread, 1. I mean, you know, I love these horses. They're so fun. But here you've got all these different names, and the Kickstarter ran all of these different polls to really make sure that the best names rose to the top, and it was just so engaging and fun. So these names are Kickstarter backer inspired and suggested. 5 sets of different horses. You also get a mini expansion for track events, and I would highly suggest playing with track events. My last game, which was my 4th game of this, which I've only had this for a week and I've already played it 4 times, I'd say that's probably like a win for me. I played with the track expansions, phenomenal. You pick 2 randomly and then apply them. They either happen mid-game, whole game, at the end of the game, beginning of the game, change the rules. They're really fun. Learn the game first, but then play with the mini expansions. And then players are going to get this player board, and it's a dry erase board with the marker. Cool thing, this game goes 1 to 8. There are 10 markers in the box. Woohoo! Way to think ahead, because sometimes one marker goes bad or one marker just already was bad. But players get their player board, and they also have a card that helps them in setup. You'll shuffle up the Golden Fields cards, and you will give every player 1. And what that card does is it gives you an initial bet on 2 horses of value $2, $3, or $4, and you just mark it, and it gives you kind of an incentive to really go for that particular horse, and everybody's bets are different. And then it also marks off 4 different checks on your concession stand area. And the concession stand area essentially allows you to get bonuses throughout the game that you have to select carefully. And they come at hopefully just the right time. Very cool. So the setup for that is super fast and easy. Everyone does it. Everyone starts with $12 and then you roll the dice. So the active player is going to roll the dice and they're going to move the horse on the 8-sided die that many spaces on the green 6-sided die. So I rolled 4, moves 3 spaces. Wow. I mean, that's like phenomenal. Great job, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then we look at the 4 of the horse from that deck we selected at the beginning of the game. So let's say we're playing with this set. This looks like the bet set. So 4 on this says flex your quads. And what you do is you look at the bottom and you activate the other horses that are checked off on the secondary movement track. And that means that horse 2 moves 1 space. And that was because 2 is checked on the 4 horse. This is how your horses move. So if you don't roll the dice, you can start adding all of these other secondary movements on other horses that you really want your horse to move if you have an investment, say a bet, or ownership of a horse. After the active player moves the horse, the primary movement that's shown on the dice and the secondary movement that is associated with that horse's card, players are going to take 1 action in turn order. Super easy though, because all of those actions are listed right here on the player card. They can mark a concession based on the horse die, and that just means find the matching number and color and put an X through it. Super simple. You want to complete rows and you want to complete columns. Every time you complete a row or column, you get a bonus, and the bonuses in the bottom are super good. You get cash. You can move horses forwards or backwards. You can place free bets on horses. And lastly, you can obtain a horse or mark a hat or a jersey, which is over here on this side. The next thing is mark your hat or jersey. That's your helmet and your jersey. So if you ever mark both of those by the end of the game, you get 5 bonus bucks. So it's always good to mark them in pairs, but you only get to make 1 check per horse die. That's your action. So the helmet you mark, and if you mark a jersey, you get to add an X to one of the other horse's card that matches that die. So let's say I mark the 4 rolls, I mark my shirt, jersey, and then on the horse die, I mark another horse because I really want horse 6 to go. That's it, super easy. You can make a bet on the horse that was just rolled, and you can pay your own money up to $3 simply by erasing your money and taking away that amount and adding it to the horse bet line. Now, you're not allowed to place a bet on a horse that is past the no bet zone unless you've got your helmet, which is super, super helpful. That means you can place a bet on a horse that's already crossed the no bet line. And then lastly, you can just buy that horse. Now this is why you have to go in player order, starting with the active player, because only one person can buy horse 4. There's only one horse 4 in every single game. So theoretically, someone could pass up on horse 4. Maybe they don't have the $8. Maybe they don't want to make the investment. It then goes down and players after the active player can possibly buy horse 4 if they want to. The game is going to end when 3 horses have finished. So once that 3rd horse comes in and takes the 3rd place trophy for $15, that's it. That round is finished. Players take their 1 action, and then everyone's going to add up their points. Players are going to get points for ownership of horses who place 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. They will also get that $5 bonus for having a jersey and a helmet, having a pair for a color, which is up to 8 times. Fantastic. Any place bets you're going to get your multiplier for. So if a horse finishes in 1st, you're going to circle the blue. The 2nd place is the red, and the 3rd place is the white. You only get the ×1 per bet if the horse ends in the no bet zone. Any horses that finish in the regular track, all your bets towards them, lost. Lastly, you'll add any cash that you have left over, and that's going to be your total. This game is so fun and fast. It seriously takes 30 minutes. That's it. And it goes all the way up to 8 players. Fantastically fun. I love it so much. So I'm really, really enjoying my copy of Longshot the Dice game. And I also played against Roland Wright, which was the solo variant, and he crushed me. I mean, absolutely blew me out of the water. But the way that works is by activating one of these actions based on the rolled dice. So if 4-3 rolled, which is horse 4-3, I would look at horse 4 and look at the number 3 die, which says Roland gets $2. And you just add $2 to his stack of money, and that's it. It's just so easy. It's a wonderful grid. It makes a lot of sense, and he is a real challenge. Do I like this game more than I like Longshot? I don't know. It's still so new. And I have to say that I've never won a game of Longshot the dice game, and I've won a lot of games of Longshot. So in my competitive heart, I feel like I still really want to play Longshot because it's just so long and dynamic and drawn out, and there's those moments where you're just cheering and chanting, and it's just so exciting. And here, everything happens so much faster, and the choices are just so quick. And so there aren't the fun cards that you get to play, like Giddy Up and Lucky Number and all that cool stuff, like, Roll of Quarters and fun, flavor that I got from the base game. But I do think that the mini expansion for the track events is fantastic. All 3 of the horses in the base deck I've played, plus one of these mini expansions, and I just think they're so dynamic and interesting. You can even start mixing and matching. So selecting, I'd like the 1 from here, the 2 from here, the 4 from there, and so forth, as long as you don't have any duplicates, because there can just be 1, 1, 1, 5, 1, 8, and so forth. I will say there's one thing that absolutely drives me crazy, is that the 5 has the number printed backwards. So every horse on this board, when you line them up and the horses are facing the correct direction, you read them and you go 1, 2, 3, 4. What? 5 is upside down. 6, 7, 8. And so I don't know if everybody else's 5 horse looks like that, but it drives me crazy. But that's it. That's like my only complaint. I love how compact the board is. I love the expansions. The setup is so fast, and this dry erase board works perfectly with all the markers, and even with this cool little helmet eraser to do some mass erasing at the end of the game. Fast, fun, just as good and spirited as Longshot, the board game. Time will tell if this will pass my my love for Longshot. I don't know, but boy, is it starting off with a bang. So, bets are in. 2 thumbs up. I hope you get your copy of Longshot the Dice Game soon. I know they're still going out. I just couldn't wait to share this with you and to show you what this is, what you're playing with, and why it's so cool. Well, I'll see you next time.